Hello and welcome back to another episode of my MotoGP 22 career mode, and today we're here for the 9th round of our MotoGP season at the Kazakhstan Grand Prix. Now in the last episode I did leave a little bit of a poll to you guys at the end because we did actually get offered a contract with Aprilia and also whether to actually do this Kazakhstan Grand Prix, and the general consensus seemed to be to stick with the Gresini team, try and bring the championship back to Gresini and to just go ahead and do this race anyway, even though it's not actually going to be on the official calendar anymore. Now, I do also need to say that it is actually the Kymiring, by the way. It's not the actual Kazakhstan Grand Prix, of course, we don't have that in the game. It is the Kymiring circuit, just renamed as the Kazakhstan Grand Prix. And we'll also get that later on in the season when we go to the Indian Grand Prix. It will just be Aragon. So just to let you know, so there's no illusion that it'll be a different circuit. So everything I'll probably refer to about this track will probably be sort of about the Kymiring in terms of previous performances and things like that. But if you didn't actually see the race in the last episode, I do recommend you go check that one out because it was a pretty decent affair. Quite a few battles with Marquez and Bezzecchi at the front of the field. Unfortunately, we did just miss out at the end, but I think if we had another lap, we could have won that race. Got a little bit mugged by the AI, to be honest, but you know what? That does happen sometimes, and now I've got the fire in my belly to try and improve for this race. So without any further ado then, we'll head into the Kazakhstan Grand Prix, and I'll see you after free practice. So we've just managed to go to the top of the session here, but I tell you what, it was very, very difficult. We did lots and lots of laps. I was kind of trying to follow all of the AI, sort of match their lines, battle them a little bit. I was behind Polo Spagro for ages as well, just following him around, or battling him, or trying to get past him. It was pretty difficult, to be honest. Although pretty enjoyable in another way, that the actual tracks seem to be pretty decent for trying to sort of pass and repass each other, especially in the middle sector, which is something I've never really noticed with the Kymiring before. But we have just about topped the time, so if we do a really good lap in qualifying, we might be just about there, but to be honest, I doubt it. I don't think I've really got enough time to try and match it. But we should go straight through to Q2 with that one because FP3 is wet. We've only had FP1 so far, and I'm hoping that their simulated times in FP1 are not too fast. So we'll head into qualifying now then, and we should be in Q2. So yes, we did go through qualifying too, but you can see there are a few notable absences from this session. Aleix Espargaro and Marc Marquez went through Q1, which means we haven't got either Enea Bastianini or Jack Miller in this session, which is very, very strange because I'd expect them both to be still fairly competitive throughout this season. We've got Fabio Quartararo in here as well, which we don't tend to see too often, so he's done pretty well on the Yamaha. We've got 3 of the 4 Aprilias in there as well. Obviously lots and lots of Ducatis, so yeah, I'm not really sure what to expect, but I do remember one of the last times Marc Marquez came through Q1 at Mugello, he did manage to put it on pole position, so do keep an eye out for him. I've just realised as well that I must have done those laps on mediums. Of course I did, because I only used one set of tyres in practice. So actually, there might be a bit more time on the table once we get onto these soft tyres. It was a tough session really for both pace and just trying to get back up to speed with the bike, because I've been playing a lot of GP bikes and TT3, so just been trying to actually get back into the groove of the MotoGP 22 game. But here we are then, going through the last turn. That's actually pretty nice. It turns pretty well on these soft tyres. Let's see what we can do. If you remember back to Moto 2 at this circuit, we were very, very competitive. We were, well, not just competitive, we dominated. So I wasn't really sure whether we'd do the same in MotoGP, but it does seem like we're not going to. But so far, this lap has been pretty good. Aside from that little bit of grass there, the grip on these softs is phenomenal. It really helps with that first sector. So we've closed a lot up to our teammate Alex Marquez here. Nice to see him in Q2 once again. Looking very competitive this season. But into turn 13, we're a little bit wide there actually. That wasn't ideal. I don't think it's the end of the world in fairness. The last sector is usually a bit weaker for the AI on this one. We do take some strange dives, and here we go through the final turn. Take a bit of curb there, try and get the bike turned as quickly as possible. Coming up towards the line, what is this lap time going to be? It felt like a pretty good lap, 42.8. To be honest, I don't know how that compares to what we did in free practice. I can't really remember what we did. But, well, it felt good, but now we've gone down straight away after finishing that lap. So hopefully it is pretty good, but if not, of course, we'll have to do another one. But that is one of the tricky parts about turn 1, especially if you've just done quite a good lap. You've got to brake right at the start line, which of course is a different line to the timing line. Obviously the finish line is where your time actually gets stopped sort of at the last corner, but it's so close to the start line, you usually don't have to brake that early. So it does catch me out quite a lot of laps. I did it quite a few times in practice as well, to be completely honest. I must say though, if I could get away with riding these soft tyres in the race, I absolutely would. The bike felt so good. It felt like on rails almost. So back in the pits then, and we are still on pole position. We've got a gap of half a second back to Maverick Vinales in second, so that does look pretty safe. Most of the AI are not using soft tyres by the looks of it, except Marc Marquez, so maybe we'll have to watch out for him, but most of them seem to be on the mediums or the hards, or maybe just a soft front at least. So then, at the end of the session, we've got a pretty muddled up grid, it must be said. We've got 4 tenths, almost half a second over the whole field, but don't get it twisted, that's not going to be how it is in the actual race, I don't believe. It's the soft tyres there that have carried all of that pace. Although Marc Marquez, of course, we did say was on soft tyres as well, and I did say to watch out for him before as well. It seems every time that he goes through Q1, he then goes through and puts it on the front row of Q2. It's very, very strange. I don't know why it's happening, because like I said, I've not made him particularly good. I've not really modified the AI performance for that to happen, but it's pretty realistic, to be honest. If you see the 2 races he actually has done this season, he has been first and second on the grid in them, so it does seem like he could pull our lap out of the Honda. Marini's 3rd, Maverick Vinales 4th, Brad Binder in 5th place. But Bagnaia is all the way down in 12th place. Now, I did expect him to be right up there, but he just isn't. I mean, in the free practice sessions he was there, I've actually made him slightly better. I will admit that one. I have modified him slightly, but he's right down the bottom here, so it doesn't seem to have particularly worked out too much for him with that qualifying session, because he's half a second off the back of everybody, so that's pretty poor. I don't know what has happened there. The AI do sometimes do some very, very strange things. But without any further ado then, let's head into the race, see how we get on. I think we've probably got a chance at winning this one, but I think the AI are going to be a little bit stronger in the race, and they're going to be very, very aggressive in sort of Sector 2, because there's a lot of flip-flop chicanes where it's difficult for the player to change direction, and the AI are really good at that. So then here we are down on the grid, looking at Luca Marini in 3rd place. He's kind of gone under the radar with that one. It's a pretty good qualifying result from him, because usually it's his teammate that's doing a little bit better. Here's Bastianini. Obviously, he's not the championship leader anymore, but he was 2nd in the championship, if I'm not mistaken. So that's not great for him. 15th place is only with 1 point at that rate. And I think he had a similar result in the last race, actually. He was right down there, absolutely nowhere. So I'm really not sure what's happened to Bastianini these last couple of rounds, because he was dominating before. He had some really good performances, especially like Le Mans and Sachsenring. He pulled back some massive points and was leading the championship, but he seems to have dropped off completely, and it seems to be Marquez that's come to the fore in the last few, which, again, I don't understand, because his AI is not supposed to be very good in the mod or in this game. He's supposed to sort of be a mid-table AI, so I'm not really sure how he's doing so well. And Bagnaia, another one, seems to be letting it down. So it seems like the factory guys are struggling a little bit. But in terms of tyres then, let's have a look. I think medium. Actually, I'm being recommended a soft front, which is strange. You know what? I'm tempted to go with that. If I'm being recommended a soft front, let's try a soft front. Why not? Because then we get a good vibe. I think if I can put some more grip on the front, that will help. So if the game thinks the soft front will make it to the end, I'm willing to give it a go.
There's only a few moments left until the start of the Finnish Grand Prix. Riders have their eyes fixed on the lights and are ready for the off.
So there we are then on pole position. Marquez alongside us. Marini rounding out the front row. Can we try and get another win here at Kazakhstan? The lights are on. Waiting for the lights to go out here. Lights out and away we go. What's the start been like? Marquez has had a better start than me as we go down towards the first corner. Running to turn one. We've already had contact with Marquez. We've got a bit wide there after the contact with him. We've lost the rear a little bit as well. Lost a few positions. We've got to avoid the grass here. We're down to 5th place. But honestly, that's not too bad. I expected much more AI to actually come through, and we've completely messed up the trajectory for the next corner. We've been knocked off by a Leish. What has happened there? That's been an awful, awful start to the race. I can't believe it. We're down into 22nd place. And that's it, pretty much race over there. Marc Marquez leads, Luca Marini 2nd, Vinales in 3rd. A little bit of contact with Marky to turn 1. I sort of tried to come across him a little bit for the line for turn 1. Then I kind of was a little bit flustered because I was offline, made a bit of a mistake into 2, and then we got sort of swamped into the pack, turned in on, and down we went. So we're at the back of the field, and it's going to be a comeback ride at a track where I'm not particularly strong. So this one will be interesting. The bike does feel quite nice with a soft tyre on though, so I think it's the right tyre choice. Just depends whether it'll actually make it to the end. So here we are then, we're on the back of Augusto Fernandez now. We've gone a little bit wide. Can we get the switch back on him? Not quite. I think I might have to try and pass him into the last corner. I know they go quite wide through the last turn. It's going to be quite difficult to pull off the pass because the lines differ quite a lot to the AI at this circuit for me. So here we go then, out the last corner. Use a little bit of the ride height device. In the slipstream of Augusto Fernandez. Can we make the pass into turn 1? Up the inside we go. I think we've just about pulled that one down. Yes, we have. So up to 21st now. So we're no longer last. And it's Rins ahead of us. Then Morbidelli. Poloswagger on the other gas. And it looks to be Nakagami in the LCR. Oh, look at the inside of Rins. Almost hitting Rins. I've got to watch out. Augusto Fernandez bashes me back out the way. That's the thing at that corner. It's pretty frustrating. But we might be able to get a few of them down towards this next corner because they're very, very weak on the brakes. Can we get past Augusto on the straight again? I think we can. Oh, they've braked already, though. They've braked so early. And I think we've just passed 5 of them. We've passed 5 of them into this corner. We've gone a little bit wide, admittedly. So it's probably allow Mir back through. We're going to try and hang around the outside. Second time's the charm around the outside of a Repsol Honda. This time we don't come off worse. And we move up to 16th, but Mir's going to still try and come back at us through this section. It is actually quite a good little chicane section. We've now got Nakagami behind us, and Nakagami passes Mir. So here we are then on the back of Raul Fernandez now, the other Fernandez. We've got Jack Miller just ahead of him, so that's where Jack Miller's up to. Looks like Bastianini's up into the top 10 now by the looks of it, so we're not too far behind those guys, and I think if we can pass another few riders into that hairpin, we've passed 6 riders on that lap, which is absolutely ridiculous, into one corner. It just shows why they're losing so much lap time at this circuit. They just break way too early for some of the corners, and here we go around the outside again of Raul Fernandez through turn 1, and we can actually go around the outside. I think we are. We're going to be side by side with him, although probably like the other Fernandez, obviously not related, but the other Fernandez did to us on the previous lap, probably going to get another nerf into this corner, so I'm going to leave the door open a little bit, and yep, I still got the nerf. I actually probably would have been better off closing the line, but I thought if I left the door open, I might not get knocked off, because if they hit you at the wrong angle, of course, you can come off. But can we try and do what we did on the previous lap, pass a load of riders down towards this turn? We're just going to get past Martin. Can we get Oliveira as well up into 12th place? I've had to risk that a lot. I'm not getting that one stopped. The front's going a little bit. So we've lost the position to Oliveira. We've actually got through everybody else. So up to 13th place now then. So I can see Bastianini just a couple of spots ahead, and my teammate as well, Marquez. So, oh, Martin trying to go around the outside. Oh, and he's been hit himself. I'm not sure who hit him. I think it must be Jack Miller. Jack Miller trying to follow me through the pack. Obviously he's only on 2 points at the moment, so he's trying to force his way through. But we've got Oliveira ahead. Then we've got a big pack, actually, of riders, which, again, we might be able to try and take advantage of on the back straight. Aleix being one of them, obviously the rider that knocked me off earlier on in the race. And then there's a bit of a gap ahead of them. So I think we actually might still get up into the top 5 in this race, potentially, because we've got plenty of laps to go. But we're all over the back of Miguel Oliveira now. We're really hassling him. And we've actually saved a decent amount of fuel on this lap as well. We're now back in the positive, where we were in the negative previously. And we're under the time as well, which is always great. So can we try and pass Miguel as we start this next lap? Personal best lap of the race, but Marini's still a little bit quicker than us. And there we go into turn 1. But I've risked that a lot, and I've completely messed it up. We've got a bit wide. Don't allow anybody else through, just Oliveira. But we might be a bit vulnerable now into this turn 2. So I've just about kept Miller behind there, but I've pretty much set myself a lap backwards with that move on Oliveira, that botched pass, because I don't think we're even going to pass him at the end of this back straight once again. So I've actually probably cost myself quite a lot of time with that seemingly small mistake. But it's okay, we've still got 3 more laps after this one, so we might be able to get a few of those riders in that pack ahead. Oh, there's a big pile-up! Quattarara's down, so is Zarco. So actually, it was only 2 riders. I thought it was going to be a bigger pile-up than that one, but that's 2 free positions, so we're up into P11 now. So Oliveira ahead of us is actually the top 10, so that's actually a few decent points there. And you can see in front there's a bit of a battle going on with the 2 factory Ducatis, my teammate Aleix and Bezecchi as well. So we might actually be able to capitalise on that if they keep costing each other time. So once again, we're sort of hassling Oliveira through the same section. Going to make sure I don't make the same mistake I did last time in turn 1. We might be able to get him actually out the last corner this time, because we've got a better line than Miguel. Here we go. Down towards the very first corner again. Just going to make sure I brake nice and early at the finish line. And again, I've made a bit of a mistake, but it's not quite as big as this as the last time. I think I might still actually have the position on Oliveira. We've touched, we're on the grass. Oliveira, what are you doing, man? Come on, you've got to give me a bit of space. And that's just completely messed me up again. And that's allowed Jack Miller through. These AI are sabotaging me in this race here. That's twice I've had contact with an Aprilia rider now, when really they didn't need to risk so much. And now I've got to absolutely gun it. Going to try and pass a pair of these into this braking zone and put myself up into the top 10. Oliveira tries to hang it around the outside, but I'm not going to give him any mercy. Going to squeeze him out a little bit after what he did to me. Now I've got a bit of clear track. Can I catch up to my teammate? I'm really starting to struggle now, to be honest, in this one. You can see my time is quite a bit off what I've been doing previously, and I've had clear air on this lap. So I am starting to struggle a little bit with my tyres now. I've not got a lot of fuel to play with either, so it does put me in a bit of predicament. Got half a lap in reserve. Obviously I can save that if I go back to power 2, but I've got 1.7 seconds to make up, 1.8 seconds really to make up to the riders ahead, so I don't think I'm going to actually get any more positions unless there's some crashes in front. I could really do with Alex Marquez doing me a solid as a teammate and putting a bit of a hard pass on Bastianini ahead, because he's in the position to do it. He's just sort of sat there at the moment. Oh! Bagnaia just dropped it at the last corner, so we've gained a position, but he is going to be right down the back of us. But I'll tell you what, we're on a good lap here. Fastest lap of the race, 43.2. Pretty decent on that lap. Alex is going for it though. Alex is going for a move on Enea, so just as I requested, it seems to be going for it a little bit, but I'm just not making enough time up on them. Even though I did the fastest lap of the race, I only gained a few tenths on those riders. So I'm not going to catch them up unless there's some intervention and another crash or something. Come on, Alex, you're right there. He's right there. You can see I'm closing in on them quite a lot as well. Alex just needs to try something a little bit aggressive, and I actually might be in the mix. I'm on for an unreal lap time, by the way. I'm 3 attempts under what I've just done. I'm only 1.1 behind now. If I'd just done that sector a little bit better on the previous lap, I'd actually be in contention now. Just one more lap and I'd be on the back of him. You can see I'm basically here now. I'm really on the limit. The bike is sliding all over the place, but I have found a bit of a second wind on these last couple of laps, to be fair. But it's going to be nice place here then at the Kazakhstan Grand Prix. Not too bad with the crash as well. But Marc Marquez takes his first win of the season. So then on that last lap, I almost did a 42. I did a 43 dead, which is a very, very good lap time for the actual race. And you can see I genuinely got the fastest lap of the race. So no simulated times able to take it away from me. But Marc Marquez then takes his first race win of the season. And to be honest, with the running form he's had of late, he must be one of the better AI in the championship now, which again is crazy because like I said, I've not been adjusting the AI performance for Marquez at all. It's been the same the whole season, so even when he was down in 17th places like Texas, it's the exact same performance he's got now, but somehow he's managed to come out on top ahead of Luca Marini in second position. Brad Binder rounds off the podium in third place. Maverick Vinales ended up in fourth, and of course Bezzecchi in fifth in that group just ahead of us. I'm a bit frustrated because I think Oliveira cost us that. Obviously, I know I cost it myself, making a couple of little mistakes at turn one, but when he sort of rammed me, and all the time I lost behind Oliveira and with some of the other AI, I think I could have been in the group in that mix, and we could have made probably a aggressive pass at the end of the back straight and sort of maybe even got that fifth position. Bagnaia came home in 10th place, obviously after his crash. Jack Miller ends up in 12th. So in terms of championship rivals, we've got 7th, Bastianini, Miller in 12th. And I don't think there are any DNFs in this race, but I did see Fabio Quartararo crash again at the very last corner. So I think that might have put him down to 20th place, and Jean Zarco in 22nd, because of course those two came off together earlier on in the race. So if we look at the championship standings now then, I was actually kind of right. Marc Marquez moves up to third in the championship. So Marc Marquez on the 2023 Honda is now up to third in the championship, 20 points off of my lead. Bastianini gains a few points on us now, only 12 down, but overall, considering we did get knocked off, a pretty decent damage limitation. Marco Bezzecchi remains in 4th place. Jack Miller moves down to 5th place, so Jack and Mark have swapped there. Luca Marini rockets up to 6th in the championship. Alex Marquez moves back ahead of Bagnaia into 7th, although they are tied on points there. Onto the Teams Championship then, we continue to lead myself and Alex Marquez for the Gresini Racing Team, 12 points clear of Ducati Lenovo, so actually the same gap in both championships, which is pretty crazy. Muni VR46 move up to third in the championship. They've had a pretty good run of races as of late. Despite the good result from Brad Binder, Red Bull KTM do move down to 4th place. Aprilia move ahead of Prima Pramac to 5th. Obviously, Pramac moved down to 6th. Monster Energy Yamaha moved down to 7th. Repsol Honda are still in 8th in the championship, which again just puts into perspective how good Marquez has been the last few rounds, because Mir has been absolutely nowhere. And we've got the Gas Factory Racing Tech 3 in 9th place and RNF in 10th. Moving on to the Constructors' Championship then, you can see Ducati, of course, do maintain their lead, but once again, they've finally not won a race. So only 2 races this season have Ducati lost, so 10 points in total because they were second in both those races, with Marc Marquez taking the win here at Kazakhstan. KTM remain in 2nd place. Honda, of course, move up to 3rd place with that great result from Marquez. Aprilia move up to 4th, and Yamaha move down to 5th. So Aprilia just edging ahead of Yamaha, obviously with a good result there from Maverick Vinales. But Honda actually gaining quite a bit of clear on both of them. In fact, they're pretty much halfway between Aprilia and KTM at this point. So Marquez, these last few rounds, has been unbelievable. And like I say, again, I've not made him any better. I don't know why he's got better all of a sudden. This game is just so bizarre. We'll head back to the Career Hub now then, see what we got from this weekend, and then end off the episode. So then, from that weekend, we gained 7,400 reputation, which takes us up to 292,200. So we've actually gained a pretty decent amount of credits this weekend, surprisingly, although I guess it's because most of it does come from the team objective, which we did still meet, so we got 25,280 for that. So as a whole, we got 26,180 credits, which takes us up to 787,608. But here we are then, back in the Career Hub. You can see I've got a notification on the contract management, but I think that is just because Suzuki are interested. And again, like I said in the last episode, of course, Suzuki aren't present in the game anymore, so I think that's why, obviously, I can't view it. I've also got one on the technical staff, so we'll just advance forward now through the summer break and get up to the British Grand Prix. I've received 3 proposals now. That's unbelievable. 4 proposals. Wow, that's interesting. So we've got one from obviously the main Aprilia team. We've got the RNF Aprilia team who are interested in us. We've got 2 fake teams who are now interested in us as well. I will once again sort of leave it open to you guys if you do want us to move. I think we are probably going to stay with Grassini now, but once again, because the offer's still there, and it is effectively, I guess, now after the summer break, I guess this is when you would swap teams. So if you guys do want me to swap to the Aprilia, do let me know, but it does seem like for now we are going to probably stick with the Grassini team. That's pretty much everything looked at there then, so that pretty much brings this episode to a close. So I hope you guys have enjoyed that one. A pretty entertaining race. Obviously an unfortunate start. I did just go back and watch it on the replay, and Marquez sort of came across me to the first corner, which pushed me wide. We actually only lost a few positions from that. The race win was still on from that position. It was pretty recoverable. But the problem was I don't know what I was doing. I've taken a very strange line into turn 4, it actually is. I kept calling it turn 2 in the race, but it's the second real corner as far as I'm concerned, but it's actually turn 4. I've taken a very strange line there. I've sort of picked the bike up. I don't know if maybe I thought I was going to lose the front on the brakes. So I've picked the bike up, gone right for the apex, and I'm kind of washing wide a little bit. And the AI, as they always do, just take their normal line and just tipping on you like you're not there. So Aleix obviously has tipped in on us, knocked us off, and then that's obviously ruined our race. But to be fair, it was a pretty good comeback ride, and we did pretty much beat everyone that mattered. Although Marquez, of course, now does start to matter with him being this close. So I'm going to start watching out for him in the next races. But like I said, I hope you guys did enjoy that one. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I hope you're all staying safe. And I shall see you in the next one.